On a family trip, my parents told me to crash on the couch so my brother could take the bed. I just smiled and said, "That's cute," because I actually reserved the penthouse. Their jaws dropped when the hotel manager walked in and said, "This whole story, it all started with a betrayal. A moment that completely shattered my trust and forced me to confront a lifetime of being overlooked." Can you believe my own parents, during what was supposed to be a family vacation, actually told me to sleep on the couch so my brother could have the bed? I just smirked and said, "That's funny because I booked the penthouse suite." The look on their faces when the hotel manager announced it? Absolutely priceless. Growing up, there was one thing I learned super fast. My younger brother Ryan could do absolutely no wrong. He was the golden child, the one my parents completely adored, the one who just got everything handed to him on a silver platter. Me? I was treated like an afterthought, barely even a footnote in their perfect family story. Birthdays for Ryan were these extravagant affairs. Expensive gifts, huge parties, cakes big enough to feed the entire neighborhood. Mine? A sad little grocery store cake and a half-hearted, "Happy birthday, kid." When it came to college, my parents pulled every string, used every connection, and just threw money at Ryan's education like it was their life's mission. Me? I had to work part-time jobs and take out loans just to make it through. It was always Ryan first, me second. If he wanted something, he got it. If I wanted something, I had to fight for scraps, for leftovers. I spent years biting my tongue, swallowing my pride, and just accepting my place as the less important child. But this trip, this was the moment I finally decided I was done playing along. It was supposed to be a family vacation to New York City. My parents planned it, which of course meant Ryan's needs came first. He got to choose the activities, the restaurants, absolutely everything. I was barely even consulted. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have even gone if I hadn't overheard my parents talking one night. "We don't have enough to book the suite," my mom had said. "Then we'll just put him on the couch," my dad replied, not even bothering to say my name. "Ryan needs a proper bed." That was it. That was the moment something inside me just snapped. I was 27 years old. I had a steady job, a good income, and for the first time in my life I had the power to change the narrative. So I did. The day of the trip, we all arrived at the hotel. It was this stunning 5-star place, right in the heart of Manhattan. The kind of place my parents would never have booked if it weren't for Ryan's incredibly high standards. As we stood at the check-in counter, my mother casually handed her credit card to the receptionist and said, "We have a reservation under Taylor." The receptionist typed for a moment, then frowned. "I don't see a reservation under that name." My mother's smile faltered. "That's impossible. I booked the executive suite weeks ago." The receptionist shook her head. "I'm sorry, but we don't have any reservations under your name." I leaned forward, a smirk playing on my lips. "That's because I made the reservation." My dad's head snapped toward me. "What?" I pulled out my phone and turned the screen toward them, showing the confirmation email. "Yeah, see, after I overheard you guys deciding that I was going to be sleeping on a couch like some unwanted guest, I figured I'd handle the booking myself." Silence. Then the receptionist smiled. "Ah, yes, we do have a reservation under your name, sir. And you're in the penthouse suite." My mother's jaw dropped. My dad just blinked like he couldn't even process the words. "And Ryan?" Oh, Ryan looked absolutely pissed. The penthouse?" My mom stammered. I nodded. "Yeah, turns out I actually make good money, and I figured if I was going on this trip, I might as well be comfortable." The receptionist continued. "The penthouse suite comes with a master bedroom, a secondary bedroom, a full living area, and a private terrace with a view of Central Park." My parents turned to look at each other, then at me, then at Ryan, who looked like he was about to throw a full-blown tantrum. "You're joking," my dad finally said. I crossed my arms. "Nope. And since I booked the room, I get the master. You guys can figure out where you want to sleep." Ryan scowled. "You can't be serious." "Oh, I'm very serious," I said, enjoying this way too much. My mom tried to regain control. "Okay, well, we'll just put an extra bed in the master and Ryan can." I laughed. "Oh, that's cute." "No. No one is sharing my bed. You guys can take the secondary bedroom and pull out the couch if you want, but the king-sized master? That's all mine." The realization settled in. For the first time in my life, I held the power. I made the decisions, and they couldn't do a damn thing about it. But this was only the beginning. For the first time in my life, I was in control. My parents and Ryan stood there frozen as the reality sank in. I wasn't the pushover they were used to. I let the moment stretch, let them sit in their shock. Then I grabbed my room key off the counter, smiled at the receptionist and said, "Thanks. I'll head up now." I walked off, not waiting for them, not asking if they needed help. And damn, it felt good. The penthouse suite was everything. Floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of Central Park, a massive living space, a full dining area, and the bedroom. A glorious king-sized bed, plush pillows, a bathroom bigger than some apartments. I dropped my bag, kicked off my shoes and sprawled across the bed, stretching out like I owned the world. Then came the knock. Sharp, impatient. I already knew who it was. I took my time answering. When I finally opened the door, Ryan stormed in first, my parents right behind him. "You can't do this." Ryan snapped like a child who just had his favorite toy taken away. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "Do what?" "Take the best room," my mom said, looking personally offended. "You know Ryan has trouble sleeping in small beds." I stared at her. "That sounds like a Ryan problem." My dad huffed. "We're a family. We should be staying together." "Oh, now we're a family?" I let out a dry laugh. "Funny. I don't remember you guys worrying about that when you decided I'd be sleeping on the couch." Silence. Then Ryan scoffed. "Whatever. Just switch rooms with me." I raised an eyebrow. "Are you hearing yourself?" "Come on, it's not a big deal," my dad said, stepping in. "You don't even care about stuff like this." I pushed off the wall and took a slow step toward him. "You're right, I used to not care because caring didn't matter. Because no matter what I did, Ryan always came first." I looked between them. But guess what? I booked the room. I paid for it. And I do care now. Ryan glared at me. "Stop acting like some big shot. You're just being petty." I laughed again. "Oh, you have no idea how petty I can be." My mother sighed, rubbing her temples. "So where are we supposed to sleep?" I shrugged. "There's a second bedroom." "It only has one bed," my dad pointed out. I smirked. "Yeah, crazy how that works." Ryan clenched his fists. "I'm not sleeping on a couch." I shrugged again. "Not my problem." They left in a fury. I could hear them whisper, arguing down the hall as they dragged their luggage toward the smaller room. I enjoyed a long hot shower in my luxurious bathroom, threw on a robe and ordered room service. Filet mignon, wine, dessert. I stretched out on the private terrace, taking in the view while my family stewed in their frustration. But I knew this wasn't over, not with them. They wouldn't let this go. The next morning I woke up feeling like a king. Slept like a baby in that bed. No guilt, no regrets. Then I checked my phone. Missed calls, texts. One from my mom. "We need to talk. Meet us downstairs for breakfast." I sighed. Of course. Fine. Let's see what they're plotting. When I got to the hotel restaurant, they were already seated, a full spread in front of them. Pastries, fruit, eggs, the works. "Morning," I said, sitting down. My dad cleared his throat. "Look, let's just cut to it." I raised an eyebrow. "Go on." Mom leaned forward. "We think it would be best if we rebooked a larger suite. Something that works for everyone." There it was. The manipulation. "You mean something that works for Ryan?" I said flatly. She ignored that. "If we pool our money, we can upgrade." I sipped my coffee. "How much are you putting in?" Silence. Then my dad sighed. "We were hoping you'd cover it." I nearly spit out my drink. I stared at them, then let out a sharp laugh. "You cannot be serious." Ryan shifted uncomfortably. "It's not a big deal. You already spent money on the penthouse." "Exactly. My money, my choice." I leaned back. "If you guys want a bigger suite, you pay for it." Dad rubbed his temples. "Why are you being so difficult? Why are you acting like I owe you anything?" I shot back. "You had no problem shoving me onto a couch to make Ryan comfortable, but the second the tables turn, it's suddenly unfair?" Ryan rolled his eyes. "You're making such a big deal out of this." I turned to him, my voice deadly calm. "And you have spent your whole life getting whatever you want. So yeah, maybe it's about time you learned what it feels like to be second place." Silence. Ryan pushed his plate away and stood up. "Whatever, I'm not doing this." Mom sighed dramatically. I just don't understand why you're being so selfish. I let out a short laugh. Selfish? You raised me to be the one who always compromised, who always made room for Ryan, who always gave up what I wanted. I shook my head. Not anymore. I turned and walked out, leaving them sitting there stunned. But as I stepped into the elevator, my gut told me one thing. They weren't done yet. And neither was I. I really thought that was the end of it, that they'd sulk for a while, complain amongst themselves, and eventually accept that I wasn't bending over for them anymore. But no, they weren't done. And I should have known better. That afternoon, I decided to explore the city alone. Walked through Central Park, grabbed coffee at a quiet little cafe, even popped into a bookstore just to browse. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. No obligations, no one expecting me to fall in line. Then I got the text. Mom. Hey sweetheart, we feel terrible about this morning. Can we do a family dinner? Our treat just to reset things. I stared at the screen. I didn't trust it, not one bit. But a part of me, the part that still stupidly wanted to believe they were capable of change, thought maybe they finally understood. Maybe this was an olive branch. So against my better judgment, I texted back. Sure. Biggest mistake of my life. The setup. They picked a high-end steakhouse near the hotel. Private booths, dim lighting, the kind of place where business deals were made and rich people whispered over overpriced wine. When I arrived, my parents and Ryan were already seated, dressed up like this was some formal event. Hey, I said, slowly sliding into the booth. Mom smiled. We're so glad you came. Dad flagged the waiter and ordered a bottle of wine. Ryan was quiet, stirring his drink with his straw. Something was off. I could feel it. Dinner started out normal. Small talk, forced laughter. They acted nice, overly nice. Too nice. Then halfway through the meal, my dad cleared his throat. So we had a little chat with the hotel. My stomach dropped. Mom gave me a tight smile. Turns out there was a mix-up with your reservation. I set my fork down. What? Ryan finally spoke. Yeah, apparently the hotel accidentally overbooked the penthouse suite. I narrowed my eyes. That's funny, I didn't get any calls about that. Dad shrugged. Well, they called us since we originally planned the trip. They said they could move you to a different room. One that's more reasonable. And just like that, I saw it. The trap. They lied to the hotel, told them I wasn't supposed to have that room. Probably said it was a mistake or that I booked it by accident. I let out a slow breath. You manipulated the hotel. Mom reached for my hand. Sweetheart, this whole thing has gotten out of control. We just want to fix it. Ryan smirked. Yeah, so let's just go back, switch rooms, and be done with it. There it was. The real reason behind all of this. They weren't sorry. They never were. They just wanted me back under them, back in my place. I leaned back, crossing my arms. No. Mom's smile faltered. What? I tilted my head. I said no. Dad sighed, rubbing his temples. Why are you making this difficult? Ryan scoffed. Dude, just take the smaller room. It's not a big deal. I let out a sharp laugh. Not a big deal? You three went behind my back, lied to the hotel, and tried to steal my reservation, and you have the nerve to act like I'm the problem. Mom's voice dropped to that gentle but firm tone she always used when she was trying to manipulate me. Honey, it's just what's fair. I stared at her. Fair. The word tasted bitter. I pushed back from the table, standing up. You want to talk about fair? Fair would have been treating me like an equal my whole life. Fair would have been respecting the fact that I booked that damn suite. Fair would be not pulling this sneaky backstabbing stunt to get what you want. The restaurant had gone quiet. People were staring. Good. Let them. I grabbed my wallet, pulled out some cash, and tossed it on the table. Enjoy your dinner. I'll be at the hotel in my penthouse. Then I walked out. The fallout. By the time I got back, I was furious. I marched straight to the front desk. The hotel manager looked up and smiled. Mr. My last name. Good evening. I cut him off. Did my parents call about my reservation? His smile faltered. I know they did, I said, voice sharp. I want to know exactly what they told you. He hesitated, then sighed. They claimed you booked the suite by mistake, that you were supposed to be in a standard room, and they were handling the correction for you. I clenched my jaw. And you believed them? Well, they seemed very sure. And I pulled up my email. Here's my reservation, my payment confirmation, my name on the account. I booked this room myself. My parents have no authority over my stay. His face paled. Oh, I echoed deadpan. So here's what's going to happen. First, you're not changing my reservation. Second, you're flagging their account so they can't make any requests about my room again. Third, I leaned in. If anyone tries to touch my reservation again, I will not only take my business elsewhere, but I'll make sure every review site knows how this hotel lets guests get screwed over by manipulative family members. His eyes widened. Understood, sir. I'll take care of it immediately. Damn right he would. The final blow. I went upstairs, locked my suite door, and poured myself a drink. Then my phone started blowing up. Mom. Why would you do that? We were just trying to help. Dad. That was completely unnecessary. You embarrassed us. Ryan. Wow, you really just ruined the whole trip. Selfish. I stared at the messages, then I blocked all 3 of them. Sat back and enjoyed my penthouse. The next morning I woke up feeling fantastic. I stretched out in my king-sized bed, enjoying the sheer luxury of my suite, knowing my parents and Ryan were crammed into their tiny room miserable. I checked my phone. Still blocked. Perfect. But I wasn't done. They thought they could play dirty. They thought they could manipulate me and get away with it. Oh, they had no idea who they were messing with. The final setup. I got dressed, grabbed my wallet, and went down to the concierge. Good morning, mister, my last name. The concierge said, smiling. I smiled back. I need a favor. Can you set up a spa day for me? Full treatment, massage, facial, the works. Oh, and can you charge it to my parents' room? The concierge hesitated. I'd have to check if. I slid a crisp $100 bill across the counter. She took it. Of course, sir. After my fully paid spa treatment, thanks Mom and Dad, I went to the hotel's luxury store and picked out a few souvenirs. A designer watch, a ridiculously overpriced leather wallet, a silk tie I didn't need. All charged to their room. It was time for them to feel what it was like to be taken advantage of. The cherry on top. That evening I called the front desk. Hi, I'd like to order a special romantic dinner set up for my parents in their room. The receptionist brightened. That sounds lovely. We can do candles, champagne, rose petals. Perfect. And can you make it for 2? She hesitated. Only 2. I grinned. Yes, 2. My brother doesn't need to be included. She paused, then giggled. Understood. An hour later I got a text from my mom. Mom. Why is there a romantic dinner in our room? Where is Ryan's meal? I sipped my wine, smirking. Oh, sorry. I thought since you always put Ryan first, you'd enjoy some time alone with him. No response. Then the hotel manager called. Mr. My last name, your parents are at the front desk demanding an explanation for the charges on their room. I grinned. Tell them I hope they enjoy their treats. Oh, and make sure they can't reverse the charges. After all, they told you they were handling my room situation, right? Silence. Then the manager laughed. I'll take care of it, sir. The breaking point. That night I relaxed on my private terrace, enjoying the skyline view, when I heard a furious knock at my door. I knew who it was. I took my time answering. When I finally opened the door, my parents stood there, livid. Ryan hovered behind them, sulking. What the hell do you think you're doing? My dad snapped. I leaned against the door frame. Oh, I'm just treating you guys the way you've treated me my whole life. My mom's face went red. You charged thousands of dollars to our room. I smirked. Oh, don't worry, you're handling it, right? My dad's fists clenched. This is childish. I shrugged. So was lying to the hotel and trying to steal my room. So was always putting Ryan first. I crossed my arms. Now you know what it feels like. Ryan muttered. This is insane. I looked right at him. You think this is insane? Try being the kid who was always second place. Try watching your brother get handed everything while you're left with nothing. I took a slow breath. You guys built this mess. I'm just making sure you finally live in it. They stood there speechless. Then I smiled, stepped back, and started closing the door. Enjoy your tiny room. Click. Door locked. The aftermath. The next morning, my parents and Ryan left the hotel early. Didn't even say goodbye. I stayed my full trip, completely unbothered. When I checked out, the hotel manager grinned. Your parents looked very unhappy when they left. I smirked. Good. Then I handed him another tip for making sure my room was never touched. Final thought. My parents and Ryan haven't spoken to me in months. Best silence of my life. And the best part? I still have the designer watch I made them buy me. And every time I wear it I smile because for the first time ever I won.